Welcome to Traveling Oracle, the magical podcast, where we talk energetics, spirituality, and how you can use this etheric knowledge to drastically change, transform, and up-level all areas of your life. Are you ready for the glow up? Let's go. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Traveling Oracle, a magical podcast. And as usual, it is a beautiful day to change lives. And child, you know there's always something going on with me. I am fresh off the train from Milan to Florence. My favorite city in Italy is Florence. The energy here is just like out of this world. Rome was beautiful and filled with culture and just like a really great city to be in. Milan gave me like, I want to say New York vibes, but like a European version of New York. But Firenze, Florence just has my spirit. Florence is so soulful, so quiet, yet not quiet. The energy here is bubbling, yet not overwhelming. The wine here, I mean, we're in Tuscany, right? So, you know, the wine is amazing. Like, Florence has to be my favorite city in Italy. And I almost want to say Europe. I feel like it's my favorite city in Europe. Granted, I haven't been to Spain yet, and I have a feeling like Barcelona and Madrid is gonna, kind of capture my attention, but Florence got it. But yeah, I just got in literally. I just walked into the hotel. My suitcases, look, it's right behind me for those of you on YouTube, are still just like unpacked and everything, because I said to myself, I looked at the bed and I was like, if I were to just even slightly perch on the edge of this bed, it is over. It is over, because I will not be doing anything after that. So I said, okay, Akil, you have to record this podcast. Don't you even test the bed. Don't you even look at it for longer than 10 seconds. Let's record this podcast, because you got a lot of messages. I even got the intuitive hit to bring my tarot cards today. So I have that here on standby. But there's a powerful message coming through today for a lot of you here, and I'm excited to get into it. So let's just invite some divine energy into the room real quickly. I'm asking all of the spiritual beings that travel with me for my highest good, please come into this room right now. My spirit team, please help me to connect with the spiritual teams of everyone who's listening. Help me to get the messages that are needed for their transformation. Thank you so much. Thank you, God, for protecting me. Thank you so much for keeping this connection open between you and I. Whew. Okay. Even just doing that kind of balances my energy, because I'm still buzzing from the adrenaline of traveling on that train. Anyway. There is so much happening in the cosmos this week. This week has been a crazy week. And I don't know if some of you might have seen it reflected in your life. Some of you might be saying, no, it's just a regular week. But I feel like those of you who are saying that probably need to attune more to the things that are happening in your life. I know that I personally went through a phase where there was so much always happening in my life that I thought it was normal. And now that I'm in a more balanced place, I realized that was not normal. I had normalized tons and tons of things going wrong or things not working out, because that was my baseline, because I was unbalanced, right? And so when someone would say something like that, ooh, it's a crazy time for X, Y, and Z, I'm like, really? It's normal. It's like, no, it's not normal. You've just normalized trauma. You've just normalized things not working out for you. And so I'm going to put that as the first message for you to reflect on your life and see, are you normalizing trauma? Are you normalizing the lessons in life that your spirit team throws at you to catch your attention? Ooh, that's a big one, because I'm hearing that a lot of you out there are not listening to your intuition. A lot of you out there cannot hear the voice of your spiritual team when they're guiding you, because you're normalizing the tests and the lessons that are thrown your way by life, you're like normalizing like, oh, this is just how life is. Life is just always hard. Life is just always difficult. Like things just always just never work out for me. And it's like, no. Like that's not the baseline of life. That's your test or your situations you're being put in to learn certain lessons. But because you're not learning them, they have to constantly send different lessons your way until you learn that lesson. They have to constantly throw situations your way that will cause you to think and stop. The problem is some of you refuse to stop and think. And so lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson comes and you're like, why is my life like this? It's because you're not being reflective enough. Someone out there's not being reflective enough. And so not only do you have lesson after lesson after lesson coming at you, the intensity of the lessons have to be ramped up ever so often to try to elicit the understanding from you that they're trying to elicit from you. And so if you want your life to finally normalize, if you want to just have a peaceful life where things are working out for you, where you only have to do something once and it works out, where you don't have to go through struggle to get something right, you need to reflect. You need to stop and think, what cycle am I in right now in my life? And I'm going to ask this question at the end of the podcast again as well. What cycle am I in my life right now? Is it a cycle of, and how you identify your cycle is by thinking of the running theme that's happening. Like, is it a running theme of toxic relationships? Is it a running theme of you not loving yourself enough? Is it a running theme of not having enough money? What's the running theme in your life right now that will indicate the cycle that you're in right now? And then ask yourself, what lessons is life trying to bring across to me in this theme? If running theme is wealth and not having enough money right now, what's the lesson that's trying to be brought out to you? It's so important to stop and reflect on these things, because speaking as someone who used to be in cycles for a very long time, and now that I'm more self-aware, I move through cycles like this, I up level like this, I upgrade like this, like I can't even keep up with myself, how I'm always spiritually leveling up because I'm always looking for the lesson. Like when something bad happens to me, of course I feel the feelings of anger, of frustration, of unhappiness, but after I'm through feeling that, I say to myself, okay, Akil, that was some bad shit. That was a lot. What's the lesson here? What is it that I can learn from this situation? How is this situation reflecting how I'm feeling inside? How is this situation reflecting my views of the world? How is this situation reflecting my internal beliefs? You've got to start doing some self-reflection. Thank you for that message. I didn't even know that's what we're going to be talking about today because I had a whole nother thing to talk about, but we're going to go where the spirit leads. So self-reflection is the first really big thing. And so funny enough, I jumped right in and I'm going to look at my little notes that I put so I didn't forget. But I really wanted to say a big shout out to my Kenyan listeners, because I got an email saying Traveling Oracle, a magical podcast, is number 1 in Kenya in spirituality today. I was like, what? Well, what? I'm number 1 in Kenya today? Well, that was last week. I think we've dropped since then, but I'm still celebrating my wins, and I'm so thankful for all of my listeners in Kenya. Another place that's showing up strong right now is Argentina, and Kristen Rogers. I know that's you, honey. I know that's you, so thank you for listening. And we're starting to chart in the UK and the US as well, so I'm thankful for all of my listeners. I just want to ask you guys that if you're enjoying this podcast, please take a moment to rate this podcast, because it helps to put me up in the rankings and it helps other people to find this valuable information, and I really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. So we talked about reflections. I did my shout outs. But yeah, there's a lot going on this week. Oh, that was my original statement that started this whole thing. But yeah, there's a lot going on this week in the cosmos. We have a full moon in Taurus. Not only that, we have a full lunar eclipse on top of the full moon. And on top of that, today is the 11th of November, 11/11, like one of the most powerful days to set intentions for manifestations. So this 1 week just had a lot going on. And for me, like I'm so tired but buzzed. Like my sleep pattern has been like crazy over this week because my body and my spirit is keenly attuned to the moon. My cycle, everything is keenly attuned to the moon. And so whenever there's a full moon, I cannot sleep. Even if I'm tired, I have this buzzed energy. And so on top of the full moon is the lunar eclipse energy. I'm like, ooh, it's a lot, it's a lot, it's a lot. And so for some of you, you might have found a lot of things shifting in your life this week. And one of the main themes is things that are in the dark being revealed, things that are hidden being revealed to you. A lot of you might have found out a few things about friends or family members during this week that might have shocked you. Some of you, it might not have been as direct as found out something about someone close to you, but maybe coming to a realization in yourself of how you view a relationship with a person. Some really deep, innate understandings of yourself and how you relate to others. And if you haven't had those realizations yet, this is your call to sit and reevaluate, because the energy of eclipses and the energy of full moons is the energy of release. It's really strong energy, but it's really strong energy that's on the theme of letting go and releasing. And this is a really important spiritual topic for all of us in our spiritual development, because as humans, our first instinct is to hold on to everything that comes our way. Every blessing that comes our way, we hold on tight. Every bit of money that comes our way, we hold on tight to the point of like a miserly attitude. Like it's great. It's all good to hold on to things that you have and be thankful for them and protect them because you've worked hard for it. But when that tips over into the miserly attitude of holding on for dear life because you don't believe that there's more coming for you, and you don't believe that you're divinely protected, and you don't believe that you're divinely taken care of. Therefore, if this has happened, it's a fluke and you must hold on tight for dear life. That's when it starts to throw your energy out of balance. Because once you start to hold on to something so tightly because you don't believe you'll get more, you're closing your energy to the universe and saying, I know you're not going to give me more. I know I'm not in an energetic alignment, and I know that there isn't more coming for me, so I'm holding on to this. No thanks to anything else you have planned for me. And so what a lot of you would see in your lives is that you'll manifest things, you'll work hard for things, opportunities will come, and you get a big win, and after that big win, there's nothing. It's just like months and months of a nothingness. It's just like miles and miles of just nothing as far as the eye can see. And that happens because we get big wins and then we close ourselves up energetically. We see a manifestation come through and then we grab and we hold on to it and we close ourselves off energetically. Some of us that manifest in the physical world is hoarding. We all watch that show frankly, I'm kind of like obsessed with that show because I just like to sit down and see how people can live like that, just piles and piles of things in their houses. Like we all know people like that. That might not be that bad, but they're always holding on to tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of trinkets. Like there's nothing wrong with a little trinket here and there. For some of us, it's keeping physical things. For some of us, it's memories, holding on to these memories of things that, of course, it's great to hold on to beautiful memories, but holding on to memories that hurt us. Like that sounds crazy, but a lot of us do that a lot. A lot of us have these memories of, situations that hurt us, people that hurt us, situations that made us feel less than. And it's like we have these memories like pocketed in the back of our mind, and ever so often we take them out just to feel those feelings again. And then we wonder why we can't move forward in that area of life. It's because you're holding on to things. For some of us, it's not just memories, it's subconscious stories that we've had in our body, and we've talked about that a lot in this program. And it's like we need to clear out and let go of those subconscious stories. For some of us, it's habits. It's really bad habits that stop us from progressing in our love life, in our career, in our business, in our relationships. Like we're holding on to so many things, and it's so easy to fix that issue for physical things. People who are hoarding, okay, you clear that stuff out and you give some away and you throw some away, easy done. But for those of us who hoard energetically, we hoard the energy of, I have this and I don't think anything else is coming, so la la la. For those of us who hoard energetically, for those of us who hoard negative emotions, for those of us who hoard negative memories, it's a lot harder. And what this week's energy is calling us to do is to tune in with ourselves and see, where in my life am I holding on to things energetically that I need to release in order to progress? Where in my life am I holding on to things that are keeping me in a negative karmic cycle? Where in my life am I holding on to things that are keeping me in this current cycle that I'm in? Where in my life am I holding on to things that are stopping me from progressing? Personally, one of the things that came up for me is the energy of avoidance and self-abandonment. I keep having this, like, for all of my life. I'm 30 years old now, and for all of my life, I've had this procrastination issue. I will wait till the last minute to do things, or I would just put things off just because I don't feel like doing it right now. I'd rather just lay in my bed right now and relax, or I'd rather would just watch a show, or I'd rather do something else even for the business, but I don't want to do this particular thing that I know I need to do right now. And it was always there, but I never paid too much attention to it. And in this full moon cycle, when the energy started to pick up for release and reflection, I realized that it's a hindering energy for my progress. Because I could have done so much more things for my business. I could have been so much further along if I didn't allow this energy of procrastination and avoiding the things that I know I need to do. If I didn't allow this energy to dictate the way I move through life. And I said to myself, what is this about? What is this energy of avoidance about? I did some EFT tapping for this issue, and underneath it, I found that I have the pattern of abandonment, right? And I talked about this before in other episodes, but it came up again. And I'm like, what is it with this energy of abandoning myself? For some reason, I keep abandoning myself. And when I explored further behind that feeling, I realized that every time I wanted to do something that was going to progress me in life, whether it's in self-development for me, just for my personal development, or it's for my business, I would have this energy of avoidance come up because I had a negative voice in my head telling me negative things about the action I'm about to take. For instance, if I'm about to record the podcast, I will have that voice telling me, do you really need to record that podcast right now? Because not a lot of people are listening to it right now. And maybe someday tons and tons of people will be listening to it. But right now, it's not like some huge podcast. You don't need to do that. Furthermore, are you even going to have a good connection with spirit today? What if you don't have a good connection and the messages aren't flowing? Do you want to really go through that? Or, the topic that you're thinking about doing isn't going to be impactful to anyone. All these negative thoughts that were running in my mind every time I wanted to do something good for my progress. And the crazy thing about it is, it was always there, it was always running, and I never consciously heard it. It was always there speaking to me, because this is a problem I've had for years. It was always there speaking to me. It was always there putting me down, or putting down my value in this area, or putting down my ability to do a task properly, or to do a task well, or to be impactful. It was always there putting me down, and I never consciously heard it. And that's a danger that a lot of you are in. Negative self-talk that you cannot consciously hear, that you cannot consciously perceive. So many of you have these negative thoughts in the back of your head running your life. And you are unaware. And I'm going to interject from my program here, because that is why in Awakened, our first week, we attack those negative subconscious stories, because those stories will always pull you down, will always degrade you, will always hold you back without your knowledge. So many of you are fighters. So many of you are entrepreneurs, you're innovators, like you want to create and put things out in the world. But no matter how hard you try, every time you try, you fail. No matter how hard you try, you can't execute the thing in the way that you envision it. No matter how hard you try, you just can't bring about the thing you're trying to produce. And why is that? It's because tons and tons of you have huge negative subconscious stories running in the background of your mind, controlling your actions, controlling the way you move through life. When I tell you that I just had this procrastination issue really badly, because not only did it delay work, which means I did not do as much things as I could have, but sometimes I've delayed it so long that I just don't bother to do it anymore. And so the impact that thing would have had I done it in the time when I heard with my intuition that I should have done it, I would have done the thing, impacted the people that specific action was supposed to impact, then moved on from there to something else and had even more impacts because I'm doing something new. But I allowed this situation to progress. But hey, life is a journey, right? I can't get back that time that I've wasted in that pattern, but I can learn from it, expose it, root it up, and move on, right? And so that is something that was huge for me. It was a huge breakthrough for me with this full moon and lunar eclipse energy of letting go. And so I want to put that to you, like, ask yourself the question, what is holding me back from progress right now? What is holding me back from achieving the thing that I know I am here to achieve? I'm hearing that somebody else needs to look at the relationships in their life. Another huge area that we allow ourselves to be held back, it's with relationships. Romantic relationships, familial relationships, friendships, whatever category you categorize your relationships in, a lot of us allow people to cross our boundaries, to influence our energies in the wrong direction. I'm hearing that someone needs to reevaluate their relationships. And so I will say, ask this question: what relationships do I currently have that are no longer serving me? What relationships are no longer serving me in this current space that I'm in life? And it doesn't mean that you have to like cut off these people and completely not speak to them. That might be the case depending on what the relationship is or how, toxic that relationship is. But sometimes it just means we need a bit of distance. Sometimes it means we just need to figure out what boundaries we want to set for that relationship. Because an issue that I see commonly, especially in women, is the inability to set firm boundaries. Like, you always feel like you're hurting someone, but it's like you're not setting a boundary to hurt. The boundary actually prevents hurt, because if you have a boundary up and you're able to enforce it, it means that you are preventing the person from enacting something that's hurtful for you, which then would mean that you react in a hurtful way towards them, to protect yourself. Boundaries help everyone. Boundaries aren't a bad thing. And I'm hearing that someone out there, their lesson is to learn to set firm boundaries. So a good exercise could be, what boundaries do I have for myself? What boundaries do I have for myself in friendships? What boundaries do I have for myself in relationships, in working relationships, in business? That's another big one I'm hearing, because entrepreneurs, sometimes we do not have proper boundaries set between us and our business. We are our business and our business is us. And that's not a healthy place to be moving from. Realize that even though it might be your personal brand, you are not your business. Your business has its own energy and you have yours. And these energies are separate. And so what I like to do is when I'm about to start business or any type of work for my business, I visualize the energy of my business coming over me. And that's when I start to be like, okay, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do this. But when I'm finished, I visualize the energy of the business leaving. And that mental boundary helps clarify and keep my spirit separate. So when I'm finished with work, I'm finished with work. I'm over here not thinking about emails, not thinking about this, not thinking about that. So boundaries is another huge topic that's coming up with this energy of release and reflection. Where are your boundaries and how are you enforcing them or not enforcing them? Okay, I'm hearing that I should draw a few cards right now. Oh, that's too many cards. Please, please, please. Give me one or two. What issues face my listeners when it comes to letting go and reflection? Ooh, all right. Some things dropped out. What's the bottom of the deck saying? Okay. So the cards that dropped out, first of all, it's the Fool reversed. And the message that's coming through with the Fool reversed is so many of my listeners, you have things that are waiting inside of you to be birthed. You have journeys that are waiting to be undertaken. I'm feeling a lot of potential energy that's just waiting to be used, waiting to turn into kinetic energy, waiting to be turned into the energy of movement. So much potential in tons of you. And I see this all the time with people in this generation. Like, you have the ideas, you know the things that you want to create, but for some reason, you're blocking yourself. You're blocking yourself from birthing your ideas. And Spirit is saying that take this time and this energy of reflection and release to ask yourself, what is holding me back from birthing this project that I know is on my spirit and on my soul to be released? What is holding me back? Oh, and I'm hearing that what's holding a lot of you back is yourself. You are the problem with your life. And that's a tough message to swallow. I remember when I realized that for myself. It's not this person who's holding me back. It's not this person who wouldn't give me a loan, or this bank who did. It's not like those are outside factors, and of course they're relevant, but my main problem was myself. I was not allowing myself to be the person I knew I could be. I was not allowing myself to be the entrepreneur I knew I could be. I was not allowing myself to be the voice that I knew I could be in this industry. And so I had all this knowledge, I had all these ideas, I had all these thoughts and these I had everything on the inside, and they were bubbling, ready to come out, and they couldn't come out because I didn't trust myself. I didn't believe in myself. I did not believe in the value and the power of my own voice. And I'm hearing that a lot of you here, you have that same issue. There's an issue with the throat chakra. There's an issue with belief in yourself and understanding your value. Ooh, and Spirit is saying that it's time you stand up. It's time you go inward and understand who you are. It's time you understand what your purpose on this planet is. And the only way to do that is to connect with your spirit. And the only way to connect with your spirit is to balance your mind, your body, and your soul. And so this is going to be the haunting theme of all the things I put out, because that's the basis of all life, to be balanced in mind, body, and spirit. And from there, you can build an empire. I mean, people build empires all the time without doing that. But guess what? That empire always crumbles. That empire always comes crashing down if it doesn't have that strong foundation. So a lot of you, you have so much potential, and divine energy is really trying and bubbling to be expressed through you, but you are your own problem. The second card that jumped out is the Three of Swords. You're remembering past failures. Other times you've tried something similar and you failed. You're remembering friends and family members who tried to be entrepreneurs and it was a massive failure. You're remembering all the people who've told you that you won't amount to anything. You're remembering all the people who've laughed at your ideas. You're remembering all the no's when you tried to do something. And Spirit is saying, these things happen, and they happen for a reason, and the reason is not to hold you back. The reason is to make you more resilient. The reason is to sometimes redirect you from the wrong path. A lot of times we get no's in life and we think to ourselves, oh my gosh, I have to stop and give up because nothing's working out. Clearly, this is not the path. And you're right, that particular way is not the path, but it doesn't mean your whole idea, your whole project, your whole business is not right. It just means this is not the way to bring about what you want to bring about. So fine, that's eliminated. Let's look at the next option. Some of you, you're giving up too easily. You're giving up too easily because you've gone through a type of life in the past where you've been hurt a lot. And so a lot of you need to heal your emotional pain because it's translating to your wealth energetics, it's translating to your career and your businesses. Like you can't move forward because your hurt in your personal life is being reflected in your business life. Because remember, a lot of people are like, oh, personal life is personal life, business is business. We're the human beings driving the business. And if there's a hurt human being driving a business, it's going to show up in some shape or form in that business. It's going to show up in some shape or form in the way you present your business to others, in the way you interact with others in your business. Like you can't be a hurt individual and somehow magically when you're in your business, like you're all balanced and perfect and nothing is wrong. It just doesn't work that way, right? And so a lot of you're being called to heal your body, your spirit, and your mind, to heal yourself so that that healing can balance out and reflect in every way you're trying to move through the world. A lot of you are trying to bypass the step of personal healing and go on to the next step, which is the big business or the big career or whatever it is you're trying to bypass the stuff because it happened in the past and you're over it and it's fine, right? And so you're trying to bypass those things and go on to the next chapter of your life. And Spirit is saying, no, everything you're trying to do will fail until you undergo this personal healing journey. And I can attest to that. Any other messages, Spirit, for the collective listening? So the Ace of Wands came out for the last couple messages, and the Ace of Swords is at the bottom of the deck. As you embark on this journey of balancing your mind, your body, and your spirit, because whether it's those of you who are coming into Awakened or those of you who are doing this journey on your own, as you embark on that journey and as the healing begins and as you start to balance yourself out, opportunities are going to present themselves. For those of you on YouTube, I'm going to hold up this card. I'm going to describe for those of you on the podcast. It's the Ace of Wands, and there's a hand coming out of the air with a wand in it, right? And it's like, what it's saying is the divine inspiration is just going to be flowing to you. You're going to have those types of ideas that change the world, those types of ideas that will create huge, wildly successful businesses, those types of business ideas that only come once in a while. They're going to start flowing to you once you're able to balance yourself. For those of you who have your business, for those of you who are in a career, the way to scale your business, the way to advance in your career, they're just going to be flowing for you. A lot of you, your crown chakra is going to be opening up, because that's the thing with connecting with your spirit. As I said in many episodes before, your spirit or your soul is the divine energy inside all humans, right? And so when you're able to deeply connect with that, you're in connection with divine energy. And when divine energy flows, abilities open up. Like the channel between you and higher consciousness is opened up. And because of that, you're going to be walking through life knowing exactly which path to take, even if there are 10 in front of you. You're going to be walking through life knowing exactly which business decision to make, because the divine will show it to you plain as day. A lot of you're going to be getting like such a huge divine connection and just divine inspiration and divine guidance is coming to a lot of you who start to embark on this journey. And the Ace of Swords on the back of the deck, communication will start to come to some of you. I think this is just reiterating the same thing. Communication is gonna open up for you with the divine. Like, this is just reiterating the first message. And for some select few, there's communication coming that's going to change the trajectory of your life. That's a beautiful message. That's not for everyone, but that's for maybe one or two of you out there. Like, why is this not focusing? Oh, there we are. There is communication coming through, strong communication coming through quickly, that's going to change the trajectory of your life. And for some of you, I'm hearing that it's not communication coming through, but it's a shift in your mindset that's happening on this journey that's going to change your perspective of the world, which changes the way you interact and see things in the world. And you're going to understand exactly how to make it in life. You're going to understand exactly how to bring about your dream life. That's beautiful. Thank you, Spirit. And then the card after that is the Star card. Dreams are coming true. I always say this when I'm ending the podcast. Those of you who listen to this podcast, your life will be transformed by virtue of the fact that you're here, by virtue of the fact that you're connecting with transformational energy. Like transformational energy. And I just saw 1111 on the screen when I'm recording. Like, you cannot put energy and time into something and it not change, right? Wherever your attention goes, as they say, energy flows. And for a lot of you, your wishes are going to start to manifest and not just dropping out of the air into your lap, but because you're changing your mindset and you're actually doing actions towards your goals. Because what happens to us as humans is you have some of us who are all about mindset and energetics and thinking and meditating, and we just do that and expect things to happen, but we don't work and put any action. Right? It's like you can't try to manifest a house in your bedroom every day doing a meditation, a creative visualization, but you've never gone to an open house. You've never gone to look at a house. You've never gone to do anything for a house. The house isn't going to drop in your lap, right? You still have to do the energetics and do the work. And then you have the other type of human who's all work, no energetics. All work. They're trying to outwork their stuck energy when it comes to whatever they're trying to achieve. The message is to always remember to balance yourself. Because for those of you who can see this Star card, she has 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on the land. And that's that balancing act between water, which is like, it represents your emotions, right? Your feelings, your thoughts, and land, which represents the physical, the hard work and stuff like that. You have to be able to balance energetics and work. Okay. And that's a message for a lot of you out there. Once you learn that balancing act, I told you all, balancing your mind, body, and spirit. Once you master that balancing act, like, the sky is the limit. The world is yours. Like, wishes are coming true. You see that really bright star for those of you on YouTube? Like, that's your ultimate wish, like, coming true for you once you've learned to balance that act. That's just really powerful. And I'm going to close by talking about, this whole 1111. They like to call it a portal that opens up. And what that means is numerological. Why can I say this word? I have been trying to say numerologically for a very long time. And so I'm just going to skip that word altogether. What that means is the energy is around and available and strong for manifestation. And I am recording on 11/11. You're not going to hear it on 11/11, but when these energies are strong in the cosmos, or when these energies are around, they normally are around for a few days before and a few days after. So definitely still really stop and do the things that we're going to talk about. It's really important for you to set your intention about what you're trying to manifest. It's really important for you to set your intention. And I'm hearing like a really powerful thing to do is to set intentions for things to happen between now and the end of the year. That's crazy. We're in November. Right? December is right upon us. There's a lot we can achieve between in this time frame. A lot of us kind of give up and be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna wait till New Year's to like try and do something again. It's like, no, if you buckle down right now, you can get such a strong foundation out of the way for you to just build and keep going in January. You don't have to wait until New Year's energy is upon us. So some of you, you need to set that intention right now for what is it that I want to achieve between now and the end of the year. Yeah, there's only a few weeks left, but there's so much that I can do with this time. What is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to achieve? And just write it down. I would always recommend writing it down in a journal and then meditating on it. I like to do a creative visualization when I meditate on my manifestations or the things that I want to bring into this world, where I picture what it feels like to have them. I picture myself having exactly what it is that I'm trying to manifest. don't let this energy pass you by. Don't let this energy pass you by. It happens once a year and it is potent energy for you to take advantage of. Okay, so I think that's all for this podcast. Don't forget to rate this podcast to help push me up in the rankings, and I will talk to you guys in my next episode.